Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. You're watching season 4 of Encounter. Today in this program, we're interviewing the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, Sri Ravi Shankar. I was one of the chosen journalists from Africa and from Mauritius to interview him during the COVID-19 pandemic, and while we were in confinement in Mauritius. I was lucky enough to ask him a few questions. The following program was recorded online via Zoom, so we have edited it so that we can share this with the viewers of Encounter. I hope you do enjoy it as much as I have.
He is engaged in peace negotiations and counseling in conflict zones around the world. His expertise in bringing opposing parties to the negotiating table in areas such as Iraq, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Colombia, Venezuela, Sri Lanka is widely known. His vision of a violence-free and stress-free society through the reawakening of human values has inspired millions to broaden their spheres of responsibility and work towards the betterment of the world.
Yeah, Gurudev.
Yes.
I still can't believe that I'm speaking to you. So a lot of love from Mauritius to India and also to the rest of the world. And thank you for having time for us. As a journalist in Mauritius, I have observed that there's a report often on the shortcomings that we have faced recently, especially with the COVID-19. And we often point fingers and say people are not respecting social distancing, or authorities, not only in Africa, but around the world, that they're not doing the right thing, or they're doing the good thing also. My thing is, I do not want to focus on what has not been done, but what I want to ask you is, many people who find it difficult to follow guidelines, when there's something that is bigger than us, we have to fall in between two lines and hopefully follow instructions that have been given to us as we are facing now in terms of COVID-19, social distancing, keeping clean, sanitizing, doing what needs to be done. But I feel that there is a lack of discipline, and why people find it hard to follow guidelines. I'm not saying this, yes, in Africa, but also around the world. And I reckon that this could, maybe you could enlighten us on how to encourage more people to follow guidelines when there is something bigger than us, so that if something like this happens in the future again, we will be better prepared to face it.
One thing is to make them aware of the dangers of the situation, number one. Give them an idea. The fear factor has to be very clearly spelt out to them. But what would be that if you don't follow these instructions, what would be the outcome? See, unless there is fear, people will not follow rules, regulations. Number one. The second thing is, get them know that this will be fine. After some time, this is only a short period of time that we have to go through this. It is not forever, it's not for lifetime. Number two, and the timing of it, how important the timing, and it's a time-bound thing. This is another thing we need to educate them. Third one is, see, if a person is stressed or paranoid, he will not follow any rule. No way they can listen to anybody or follow any rule. Because they tension and stress, they don't know what they are doing. They have no clarity of mind. Here, I would recommend them, they all should do meditation. They can do meditation, they can do breathing exercise, they can do many other exercises that can help them to have the clarity of mind. And when they feel calm and happy, they are ready to listen to any instruction. So bringing the calmness to them, to their mind, and make them see the sense is very, very important. Government has their bit to play. I mean, they have their bit to do. I think they have bigger role to take care of the welfare of the people. But I feel that government alone cannot do it. The civil society will also have to pitch in. The civil society, when they come together and they can see that the distribution is done in a proper manner and government participation, and so the people at large feel that they are not alone, they are not isolated, that everybody is with, now everyone is working together. This is nothing short of a World War III, I would say, because like in World War, everybody came together. In the same way, to fight this pandemic, the society as a whole should come together. Otherwise, there will be a ping pong of blame games will start. People will say the government will have their own version. They say people are not following, they don't have discipline. So this is not the time for blame game at all. We will have to be very cautious and plan for a robust economy in the future. See, this corona has virtually made the whole world flat, economy of the whole world into a flat place. And it is also a lot of opportunity. I would say this crisis also offers a lot of opportunity for growth in the future. There is a lot that youth of Africa can do. The private and public sector will have to come together and do what is in their best capacity to the people who are really affected and suffering. There are people who are going without food for many days because they lost their jobs. They could not go and work in the factories and places they used to work. Now, they need to be really given that extra care. The World Health Organization has said it will take 5 years to control this virus. This is terrible. I mean, 5 years, people cannot survive like this, So, and the poverty in Africa is another very big issue. This is the time for all those who have enough funds to be more generous, exhibit their generosity. Like here in India, we are feeding 60 million people just from Art of Living alone. So we are giving to people food, daily wage workers, especially those who live their life hand to mouth. So in Africa, we have a lot of people like that. This is another thing. And one more thing would be self-reliant agriculture. If every village in Africa, every small locality start producing food, grains and food, vegetables, food and poultry farms and all that, then they can achieve self-sufficiency in food. Nobody need to go hungry. This is something we can float because Africa has very fertile land, very good land, a good source of water, and air is very pure in Africa, not yet so polluted like in other continents. But this is the time if they can learn organic farming, natural agriculturing without chemicals and pesticides. Africa can lead the world for food because there is a lot of food shortage that is happening in the world.
The World Health Organization says a large number of poor countries in Africa that rely on the global vaccine sharing scheme COVAX do not have enough doses to continue vaccinating against COVID-19.
The UN and the Africa Centers for Disease Control have already urged countries with surplus supplies to donate them to parts of Africa where they are needed. The COVAX program, backed by the WHO and other multilateral bodies, aim to supply 600 million doses to Africa, enough to vaccinate at least 20% of the population.
Do you believe one world family? No more hiding from the truth. No distance separates me and you. Nature's there watching, God is watching. Let love be real. Yes, I do belong to you, and you do belong to me. We can stay together, love each other, and live in peace. One world, one family. One world, one family. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. One world, one family. One world, one family. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Give some help, give it free. Don't stand humanity. The eyes crave a return, but our spirits need stay pure. Give some help, give it free. Don't stand humanity. The eyes crave a return, but our spirits need stay pure. If I could heal every soul and make the world know what I can do it all. One world, one family. One world, one family. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam. One world, one family. One world, one family. Let us live together. Kutumbakam. Vasudeva, Kutumbakam.
However, in Africa, only about 2 doses of vaccine have been administered per 100 people, compared with an average of 68 doses per 100 in high-income countries. And around 1% of Africa's population has been fully vaccinated so far. Luckily in Mauritius, the vaccination rollout has been far more successful, with the aim of reaching herd immunity by October 2021.
Unimaginable just becomes inevitable. Then true love shall remain if we keep loving. How will it be? One world, how do you see? One world, we pray. One world, one world, believe. One world, I believe. One world, I pray. One world, share. One world, see. One world, say. One world, and pray. One world today. One world.
During this conversation, we have been speaking about what authorities can do, what civil society can do. But I think one of the most important things that needs to be addressed is what we as individuals can do, because we definitely had very hard times coming ahead. Many people will be unemployed. Other things that we used to take for granted will be harder to do now. So going forward, I personally feel that there is a lot of there will be a lot of shift going towards the inner self of people. But I just want you to ask Gurudev, what would you tell people to do, especially to the African continent? How do we brace ourselves going forward? Because our lives will never be the same going forward. I might be wrong.
No, no, you're correct. Going forward, as I said, we have to rethink our economic strategies. We have to be self-sufficient and produce food that we need for each province. I'm not even talking about countries. Each province should be able to grow their food. If any such pandemic comes in the future, we will be able to lock down our each province and still be self-sufficient there. If say suppose some other virus comes up after a couple of years, a few years later, if there is a lockdown, we are not suffering, or the suffering can be reduced to the minimum if we see there is self-sufficiency zone-wise. And this will also help for the urban cities, urban areas to get more breathing space. What is happening now is urban areas are overcrowded. Traffic is so much there. So when smaller cities come up, small localities come up, it is always better. People live in, So this post-19 has opened many avenues of creative economy. There people can agree-based economy, then there could be software and IT training, and skill training is something that people can have. Africa also needs a lot of skills, training. So driven by this spirit to create something new. I think our continent, African continent, can move faster. As I said, there is hard-working tendencies already there. Africans are very hard-working. The endurance is there. They are stable, mentally very stable. Plus there is a rhythm in them. Natural rhythm is there for Africans. So, but in spite of having all these virtues and enormous natural resources, Africa is still poor. That is very sad. It's very sad to see. With so much resources in Africa and people so hardworking, so good-hearted, very committed, we should be able to uplift the country very fast. One more thing I would say, we must help young people come out of addictions, whether it's drug or alcohol addiction, cigarette addiction, addiction to smoking. This has also caused a great toll on the health of younger generation. I'm talking about younger generation specifically. So the younger generation, because of this, they get into a mode of violence. If violence is put to an end in Africa, whole of Africa, it will invite investments, it will prosper very well, it can grow in science and technology, it can become 100% literate, all these benefits are there. More than the disease, it is the fear of the disease that kills people. So we need to give them inner strength, give them confidence, boost their immune system. Though Africans have got very good immune system, but still it needs to be strengthened quite a bit to tell them what are the nice real things to be done. For example, I would recommend people not to use white sugar. White sugar would bring down the immune system by 50% for 2 hours time. So Instead of white sugar, use brown sugar. I would say use honey, use jaggery, raw, this one, sweeteners. So, and many more things like this, we need to educate our people. Education, if we can achieve in this decade 100% education in the entire African continent, that would be a great achievement. Its lack of education and awareness is something that makes it very difficult to control the virus. Yeah, because you need to create a lot of information floating and make people understand. Because anything new is not very easily taken up by people. So it needs quite a bit of convincing. And why they should keep social distancing, what is the need for using sanitizers, and all this, we need to keep educating them. In extraordinary situations like this, I think we cannot spend time in wondering whether someone has freedom or not, or freedom of expression, or now it's like you are going for a war and there is an enemy ready to shoot you down. So what you do, you don't sit and worry about whether you have combed your hair or whether your lace in the shoe is proper or not. You simply run. And that is the sort of situation we are in now. So very quickly we have to, world together will have to contain the disease. Suppose one part of the world is not contained, other parts are contained, it is no containment. So from here it will all travel to other part. So at once we have to nullify this virus. For this we all have to work together. And we are also here in India working on some natural herbs. The moment that comes up about natural herbs, I am sure Africa has a treasure of natural herbs. If we can heal the population by our natural herbs, then we don't sell out our whole wealth and health of the continent, of the world to pharmaceutical companies who make a lot of money out of this, out of all these pandemics. Though there are many conspiracy theories about all this, but I would say this is the time that we all unitedly inspire each other, tell people not to get depressed or become aggressive and angry at someone else. We'll work together as a teamwork. This is not the time for conflict or competition, but this is a time for cooperation. From competition to cooperation we have to go. From conflict to compassion we have to come. So these are the things, if we take in mind, I think we will be able to overcome this, and I see a bright future ahead of this pandemic in the coming years. See, meditation is something that brings energy to body and sweetness in our dealing and behavior with people, and your body becomes healthy, your immune system gets boosted, there is clarity in mind, you get good sleep, and then you think very positive, you get very creative ideas. There are numerous benefits of meditation. And especially if we can meditate at a synchronized time, it is even better. And that's why I meditate. Africa will really bring a wave of relief, waves of happiness. It can bring the waves of positivity in the entire continent of Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this interview with Sri Ravi Shankar. Big thank you to the Art of Living Foundation in Mauritius for giving me this opportunity to interview him. If you have any questions, do drop an email at encounter@mbc.itnet.mu. Until the very next program, goodbye.